This is a man's world. Talking to me? Well, who the hell else are you talking? Talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here.
Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo go down around this town?
Sure enough.
Well, who am I?
Sure enough.
Who am I?
Sure enough.
It was $35,000.
$35,000 cash money?
No, I give $35,000 plus one, right?
The one I gave.
No, you give me six, all right? That was one. I had one that was six, and it's $35,000 plus one plus six is seven. $35,000 and seven, right? Did you buy that?
No! Oh, say it again. Say something else. Oh! Say something else. Say something else, nigga.
Hell, I'm about to blow her
Back out! No.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
Oh, hold on, fellas, hold on. Watch how I handle this. Yeah. What? What's up?
Martin, I will see you at home.
Yeah, when I get there.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers?
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Do you ever really love me?
I really meant to love you.
Shut up, listen, learn.
You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
I'm Daryl Frierson, owner of the SLC Network. I am 40 years of age, I know, right? And I'm also in marital bliss or marital hell, depending on which way you feel about it, for the last 5 years.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JD, aka Mr. December, and I am the host of Love and Relationships over on my YouTube channel. It's good to be here. I want everybody to know that I am really sincere and genuine about getting our people together. Because me, myself, I'm 35 years old, I'm divorced, but currently in a new relationship. So I want to help everybody come together, answer any questions that you might have, and maybe share some experience that might help you. I'm glad to be here, and I hope that we have a great discussion on tonight.
Hey everyone, I'm Andre Pearson, and I run a channel on YouTube called Why Does Love Hurt So Good? It is a channel where we talk about our relationship things, the things that we go through, allow, and put up with to have someone love us in our lives. I'm 56 years old. I'm a single man.
I think that's a complicated question because it depends on every man. There's certain things he will do outside of his boundaries, but then there's some people that will never do anything for anybody. It's a personal thing for everybody, but I'll say the most men will sacrifice for the woman that they love. But it could be so many different ranges because sacrifice to one person doesn't look the same as sacrifice to another. So someone may be feeling they're sacrificing, but someone else don't feel like that's a sacrifice enough. It is what it is.
I absolutely know for a fact that there are a few certain things that a man will do when he loves a woman. Number one, he will try to put her on lock very quickly. When a man comes across a good woman, there's no doubt in our mind, and I promise you, good women these days are hard to come by. So a man will definitely try to lock you down and be exclusive very, very early on. Number two, when a man loves a woman, he will express really, really good affection to you. Contrary to popular belief, men really secretly love affection. We're not going to admit it all the time, but men we like our head rubbed, we like to hold hands, all of that good stuff. So the next thing that a man will do if he loves a woman, it will not take a man longer than a year to express that he wants to marry you. A man that's on his purpose, a man that's on his grind, a man that knows what he has in front of him, it will not take him longer than a year to start discussing marriage seriously with you. So I can't wait to dive into the discussion, and I want to know what you think down in the comments below.
There are a lot of things that men would do. The question is, will they do it? So there are a lot of things they would do. And one of the main things they would do is to actually love and respect and protect the woman, make them feel that they not only are somebody they need to be with, but someone they can't be without. So the things they would do, definitely show her love, Be in her life. Let her know that she's important to him. Gotta sanctify her. Let her know that she's the number one person above everybody else.
Yo, 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 what is going on, you guys? We are live today for MenChat, and as you guys saw, we got some great men lined up joining me on the live show today. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring these brothers up so that they can introduce themselves to you live right here on the show. So none other, I got my man JD and my man Daryl joining me. What's going on tonight, fellas?
What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy JD, aka Mr. December. It's good to be here, y'all.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, everybody? Everybody calls me D Fryer. Daryl, yo, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate this, man. I'm surprised you asked me on here. I mean, it's amazing.
yo, D man, we've been knowing each other for a very long time.
Like all these other cats, man. Shout out to y'all. Y'all got these dope channels for relationships. I'm a heathen, so I don't even know how I'm in here.
Yo, man, you are one of the hardest working men I know in the podcast game. And, you know, it's such an honor to have you on here tonight. And as you as well, JD, I mean, you're doing your thing, man. And I'm excited. This is our first episode of MenChat. And as you guys can probably see, my man Andre was supposed to be joining us tonight, but unfortunately, he had a power outage in his area, so he won't be able to join us. If he does hop on, by all means, you know, that'll be great. We'll add him to the show. But for tonight, we're going to rock out with my man JD and my man D. But first, let me give some shout outs to those in the chat. Want to say shout out to the Dojo of Manhood. So glad you could join us. Want to give a huge shout out to Cynthia. We appreciate you joining us on tonight as well. I see Tiffany is in the building. What is going on, Tiffany? So glad to have you joining us. And my girl Tanisha is in the building. We appreciate you for joining us. So I want to get right into this thing, fellas. Let's waste no time. My first question for the both of you is, what are some things that men will do for a woman if he truly loves her? Let's get things started with you, my man JD.
Well, the first thing that I always think about, it comes to my mind, and y'all saw this in the clip. If a man is really, really interested and in love with a woman and he can see a future with her, he's going to lock her down ASAP. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, men, we're typically territorial, right? So if we find somebody good, if we find somebody we like, that we can see a future with, we don't want nobody else wifing that up, cuffing that up, because we want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Good women are hard to come by these days, man. So in my opinion, if a man is not serious about putting those cuffs on you, I know sometimes we look at that as a little bit of a negative thing, you know what I'm saying? Cuffing season or whatever. But listen, ladies, I promise you, if you're doing everything right, a man is going to try to cuff you real, real quick.
Which ain't always a good thing.
Yo, speak on that, Daryl. Why isn't it always a good thing?
Hey, some dudes be like, look here, before she find out how crazy I am, I'm gonna go and cuff this down and get her locked in before she know I got 8 kids by 9 women, you know, and then I got a lot of stuff going. Let me cuff her up real quick before all my negatives come out.
Yo, you definitely got to be careful of those. You're right. You know, some people will be in a rush. And I think that could be one of those signs that women can look out for is a man rushing to cuff. Because do you guys think it's fair to say that most men do not rush to cuff a woman up?
No, I don't know no more. I seen a woman engaged 2 times during the pandemic in one 2020 calendar. I mean, a 2020-21 calendar. So I don't know.
Wait, so your question is, how long does it take to cuff?
Well, that's the question that's on the table now. Is I'm curious to know whether or not you think a man rushing to cuff a woman is a sign that, you know, like D was saying, there may be some other things that float that he's trying to hide. And by rushing into cuffing her, it may not actually be a good sign that he's just ready to commit.
Okay. So I have a couple of thoughts about that. So
okay.
Well, first of all, let me get my sleeves ready because it's one thing.
I already roll mine up.
Yo, he ready.
It's one thing that I do on my channel, right? I do this, and then I do this, right? And what that means is that there's a certain type of man that's over here, right? And then there's another type of man that's over here. You got your dusties, your good men. Your good men are up here. Your men that's on their purpose, on their grind, know what they want in life and know what they're looking for, know where they're going, career driven, or what have you. Then over here, you got the dusties. You know what I'm saying? What a lot of women today would call broken dusty. You know what I'm saying? So I usually speak from this group of men over here. You know what I'm saying? So
okay, so we can exclude them on this other side. I got you.
Yeah. I try to, I try to exclude those type of men and try to. I speak to the men that's on their purpose, that's
Right.
productive, contributing members of society, right? So
That's important.
So those are the types of men that I talk to, and those when I'm speaking, those are genuinely the type of men that I are speaking for. Now, if you got a man that has 9 kids and 10 baby mamas, I mean, 9 times out of 10. I'm not saying that all the time.
The numbers don't even match up. That's how ridiculous it is.
Exactly. See, you with me? You with me, D-Fry? You with me? I like that, man. So it's like you won't be able to hide that long,
right?
To me. Mm-hmm. Now, if you can hide it for a substantial amount of time, then you are one of the greatest con artists on earth.
I know somebody that hid some stuff like that for 5 years.
Yeah, it's absolutely people that do that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I just believe that if you're serious about somebody, and both people are coming in good faith and know what they want and know what they're going toward, first of all, I don't think that you should be in a relationship for 5 years and marriage not be on the table. If you're in a relationship for 5 years and you're not married, I'm not really sure what you're doing. That's number one. Because just like I said in the clip earlier, and my first point, it doesn't take men long. Men, let me rephrase this. Men that are looking for a good woman, right? He's going to be honest, doesn't have anything to hide. He's going to invite you into his space. He's not going to have a problem sharing his location with you, letting you borrow the phone, going through the phone or whatever. I don't know about a lot. I don't have time to hide stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And we
Jay,
all
you
know.
are so good of a guy, man. You are so good of a guy.
I'm just saying, man. I don't have time for that because you know the same thing that we were brought up on. If you tell one lie, you got to tell another lie to cover up that lie. Then you got to tell another lie to cover up that lie. You forget the lies after about number 5.
But some people live in the lie that they believe the lie. So they don't have to re-lie because they actually believe the lie.
Now you got a good point. You got a good point there too.
They actually believe it. And you can show them like, no, that ain't it. This is it.
Hey, Daryl, I'm gonna come to you in a second. There was a few comments in the chat. One in particular from Dojo that stood out to me. So he had a question for JD, which is, who is the judge for if she's doing all the right things? So
that's you, JD. Not JD. That's to JD. I'm sorry.
Yeah. JD, what's your quick answer to that question that Dojo
had? I ain't seen the StreamYard popping. My bad.
No, you good, J.
I mean, D-Fry is absolutely right. You should be the judge of that.
Right.
Number one, because let me tell you something. I'm also a component of vetting women properly. You know what you look for in a female, whether that's somebody that can do 50-50, somebody that's cooperative, or whether or not you want to pay the majority of the bills or all the bills, somebody that can take your lead and give you that inspiration and counsel when needed. I don't think that is conducive to any relationship if you are letting other people be the judge of what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a perfect example, though. You know, if you meet or if you're dating somebody that you're into and everything is going well, hey, I like the fact that she can do this. I like the fact that she's this, X, Y, Z. She's affectionate. She's clean. You know, she's not reckless. She's not thotting out here in these streets. That's what you want, right? But once you get to that point, there's nothing wrong with bringing her around your friends and your family, right? To see what they think. Because, sometimes other people can see things that we don't see right off front. You know what I'm
100%.
saying? So I think you should be the judge.
So D, I got a question that came in from Dojo. I want to get your thoughts. He says, he's saying, should a man be ready to marry a woman just because she's a quote unquote good woman? Is a good woman enough for a man to be like, okay, I'm gonna cuff her, I'm gonna marry her? What's your take on that, D?
See, I'm gonna have my JD. You're so good of a person.
But that's why we here. This is MenChat. Different perspectives.
Been with my lady 11 years. All right. Married for 5. So the whole JD, I waited a long time. If you look at the mathematics, I waited longer than 5 years. So I'm an Aquarius, so I'm very headstrong when it comes to my thought process. But to answer that question, everybody has their own kind of thing. I really can't tell nobody how to make their own moves. What's a good woman is whatever it is to you. And in my backsliding days, I let women go that I knew that I wasn't prepared to be with because I was gonna just do them dirty. It was not gonna be a good route. You was gonna have me talking about me on an Oprah or one of your books or something like that later on in your life, and I didn't want to even go down that route because you were too good of a person. So, But it's all about who you are and what you want and whatever you can deem as good. It's just your own personal value system. I don't think that there is no checklist that anybody says like these are the 10 things that are a good woman. Those 10 things I may not think is good for a woman. You may be like, yo, I want you to. I might be like, man, I like to cook, so you don't necessarily need to cook. I need you know how to be able to go grocery shopping real fast and know how to order some wine. That may be for me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So there's no like straight checklist, and also even more of it, we can't get tied into that list that we have because people are so invalid. Not infallible, but they're evolving as well. They're not going to be the same person they were then. So if you ain't really invested into them and choosing to love them every day, them having all those ideals that you think is a quote unquote good woman, are not going to mean anything.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. So Tiffany has a question for you gentlemen. So she says, what do most men consider the right qualities and what do you look for when vetting a woman generally? Either one of you want to take that?
So JD, we staying in the non
dusty.
We talking to this group.
Okay. I want to make sure.
We talking about this group.
I'm just staying there. I just want to make sure we staying on. We staying up in here in the cosmos.
Right, that's where we at. Well, first of all, that's a very good question. I think one of the most important things for a man in this category over here is she cooperative? Is she respectful? Is she affectionate? And is she a good fit for you? And some of those things, like D just said, a good fit for you, some of that stuff is interchangeable. It's not necessarily the same for everybody. However, I believe that most men that want marriage and children, they're looking for those qualities, good qualities in a wife of being inspirational, being feminine, respectful. She's not going to embarrass you out in public. She's not looking for attention on social media. And another thing that's very important, and this is very important to me, will she be a good nurturer to my children? You know what I'm saying? Okay. That's very important. And also, this is gonna blow y'all's mind. I look at how a woman treats her father. I look at the relationship between her and her father, because the way she treats her father is a very, very big indication of how she's going to treat and respect you.
Is there any particular thing with regards to our relationship with her father that you're looking for in particular?
Well, it's not so much in particular, but it's mostly that respect factor. Right. Does she respect her father? Mm-hmm. Does she respect structure and leadership? Mm-hmm. You know, and what type of man her father was.
Okay.
As well. Because if her father was, not so good, maybe one of those brothers over here, then 9 times out of 10, some, not all women will not have a positive image of men to begin with.
That's real. That's real. Yeah. So let's go back to that original question and sending it back over to you, D. What would you say are some of those things that a man is only going to do for a woman that he loves?
Sacrifice, like he's gonna give his last to that person, because basically you're gonna give your last to your family. They have to be family. They are family. If they're your woman, they are family. So you do your last to your brother, your sister, your mother, your aunties. Same principle with that person that you want to be with. Um, and I don't think it's no different than it's, to me is this is if it's major sacrifice, and you can and a woman knows when they man is sacrificing. Now the trick bag with that is some people will take advantage of their idea of sacrifice and try to push you into manipulation, which is a thing that you have to watch out for of sacrifice. And you got to see, and then on the flip side, like I'm saying, you seeing how if they're appreciative not of your sacrifice, or if this is just the just the run of a mill thing. If they don't understand sacrifice, then you know what you got to do. So it's like a double test almost.
Yeah. Let's dive into that a little bit. Can you give, both of you gentlemen, are there any examples that you would say is a sacrifice either that you have given or a man that has given to a woman that he loved in particular?
I can answer that.
Okay.
And that's kind of easy. The first way a man sacrifices with his wallet.
Yeah,
because
that's it.
Yeah, that right there.
Unless he giving up a kidney. Other than that, you know what I'm saying? We case closed.
Yeah, I mean, it's with his wallet. Is he willing to be? Is he sacrificing to be a provider? Right? Yeah. Because while he's putting a roof over your head or putting food on your table, he could be spending that money doing anything else, really. If there's a certain level of disposable income, but I think that's the biggest way men sacrifice now is with their wallets. And then on top of that, you have to be a man that knows that that's his responsibility. You know what I'm saying?
Also, I will say this: it's not for people that have a lot of money. It's time. So it has to be replaced on the other side of it. So if they got money and it's nothing to them, you have to flip it. And now it's time, sacrificing their time for that. Like your regular person is money, but if they are a man of means, time.
That's real. That's real. Any additional sacrifice you want to add, D, as an example?
I mean, that's every day. In the Frierson household, it's every day. I want to park my car in the garage. Oh no, it's snow. We talking about snow before. Yeah, I don't want to have mine out there in the ice. You know what? Let me go and let you park yours in there. I'll make sure I'll get up early and warm up my car and get it popping. It's all good. Just those small things like that as well. Because if you don't care about it, like, look here, hey, I got some extra little heat lamps, saying that we can put outside on your car. Leave my joint in the garage where it
was. Yo, I hear that. Yo, so Dojo, a manhood, gave us this comment. He says, men are pure hunters. I don't like the word love, but if he's fully committed to her, then he will spend his every breath working to make her dreams become reality. What do you guys think about that? Is that a form? Would that fall into an example of that type of sacrifice, doing everything that you can to make sure that woman's dream becomes a reality that you love?
Yeah, I say so. But there's a caveat with it for me too, though.
Okay,
if that person's not fully invested in making their own dream come true, man or woman, you can't go so far. You don't go so far with helping them if they already ain't pushing the cart up the hill themselves.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad you said that, D. I only think that that's partially true because the first part is true. If a man is committed to the relationship, then he's going to work those extra hours, whatever he needs to do to make sure your family is secure. However, working to make her dreams become a reality, there's nothing wrong with supporting each other, but a big part of her dream should be making sure the family flourishes. You know, not just a self thing. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as everybody is flourishing, then everybody should have that room to do those dreams. I don't want to take up too much time, but it was a story that I heard on social media where this guy, he was with his girl, they were engaged, and he worked a lot of hours while she went through school. He worked, she didn't work. He took care of everything, then paid off her student loans, and then, you know, when it was time for it to flip, like they had agreed on. Mind you, they agreed on this. He would put her through school, and then afterwards they would flip and she would put him through school. When it was time for her to put up her part of the bargain, she dipped. You know what I'm saying? So I think your dreams need to be, you know, for the betterment of the family first, and then everything else comes after that.
Nah, that's real. That's real. Yeah. And I had a feeling that story that you was telling was not about to end in a positive way. I had a feeling.
But I've
So we
seen
had a question.
some where the people get on a woman because they helped their man retire. Like they man did all this, and they be like, "Well, dang, hold on, why you retire?" I'm like, "Well, this dude," and then you find out story out. You'd be like, "Oh, he was holding down like 3 jobs for 30 years to make sure she got something else cracking. Yeah, you should retire him."
Yo, that's real.
Absolutely.
So we had a question. We had a question come in. I want to get I'll start with you, D, and come over to you, JD. So the question is, MSM 41009 says, a man that she dated last year told her that in the future he might resent her. What is the effect of resentment in a relationship? I'm assuming from the male perspective. What's your take on that, D?
MSM, could you give me some more context of like why did he say he would resent you?
Yeah,
because I mean I'm just not resenting people off the strength, so I don't even know what like
right.
I try not to resent nobody, period, because that's them like living that space, because that's living free in my mind. But yeah, I would need some more context, MSM, if you can, because that's kind of
So definitely provide us some more context, and I'm gonna bookmark this question and I'll come back to it. So I guess, okay, here we had another comment that came in from Dojo. So he was saying, if a man is committed, he'll work to constantly upgrade the quality of the woman's life in every aspect. So that is what a man does for a woman he loves. What do you guys think about that?
I agree.
Yeah,
they can get real sketchy though. That's what I'm saying. They can get real sketchy.
It's like a fine line, isn't it?
It's because they can get real close to tricking, real fast.
Because look, this is the thing that kind of comes to my attention, right? Because there's a difference, and just let me know what y'all think about this. I think there's a difference between a woman that a man is fully committed or in love with versus a woman that's his wife, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think there are some things that you can do for a woman that you love or you're committed to who's not yet your wife. You got to put some limits on that. Once she's your wife, I think that a lot of the things that Dojo is saying, you know, like upgrading her, making her dream.
Oh, that's good to go.
Like, it's a difference when that's your wife. But when that's just a woman that you're still in relationship with, you're committed to her, you love her, I feel like you got to cap that somewhere because you still haven't made that full commitment. And, you know, she hasn't agreed to go all the way with you as well. What do y'all think? That's my take on it, though.
No, you're absolutely right, man. And I'm over here smiling because, you know, over on my channel, I talk about women getting the keys to the kingdom. Or whatever, you know, for me to continue to upgrade your lifestyle, you know, that means you have all of the keys to my kingdom, and you're not getting all of those keys until there's some risk on your part too. So I feel, it definitely has to be limited, you know.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about that. So what are some risks that men feel women should make on their behalf in the relationship? Because that's the word that really kind of stood out with what you just said, JD, is what risk are you expecting the woman to take?
Well, first of all, I think marriage is a bit of a risk if we just be honest. When you commit to being married, you know, you're committing to, you know, a lifetime, you know, at least initially.
or 10 years.
Yeah, you could, and for a period of time, you're
there we go. I like that better.
Yeah, for a period of time, which should be a lifetime. Let me say it like that. It should
ideally,
be
right?
Ideally, it should be a lifetime. So that's a risk in itself. But the next risk would be having children with that man. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, typically we're talking about over here, right?
Right.
Yeah, we're talking about over here. So you know that's the greatest honor that you can give a man is children. And when you have children with somebody, then typically you're attached to them for a lifetime because you should be already married. Do not carry before you marry. So that's a big honor. So that's a risk because that's another thing. You share DNA with the person now, and then taking a risk to get on that man's leadership. You know what I'm saying? And be cooperative with that man, because any man that's over here should be intelligent, should be confident. These are the things that women should be looking for in a man that has that ability to lead, because you don't want to just follow after anybody. So being able to take that risk to get on that man's leadership is definitely a big risk, because I mean, in 2022, I think that's one of the hardest things for women to do now is to be cooperative. And I'm saying cooperative because people don't like the word submission. It's almost like nails on the chalkboard when you say that, right? So that's all submission means, is being cooperative. So I think those are
I think women will be submissive if you got enough money. That's always been my thing. Oh, you got 30 mil? I'm submitting. You know, that's the challenge, is when you're equally yoked regular people being able to be in that dynamic. That's where the test is. It's easy if somebody got more bread than you, they can do whatever.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because during my vetting or whatever, I literally had a lady tell me some time ago that, well, if I'm making just as much as you, if not a little bit more, if I tell you we need to get up and move, you should get on board and do that, because I'm not going to be submissive if I'm making just as much.
Y'all can at least discuss. First of all, that ain't even about submission. That's just being an a-hole of like, let's discuss whatever we need to discuss and make a decision together. Not you just. I wouldn't even think that'd be good for a man to do that. So she need to stop the buck a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And then, you know, of course, she went on to say that if I made all of the money and was paying all of the bills, then yeah, she'd cooperate then. You know, but
you asking for a lot. That's like,
yeah,
I mean,
right.
That's not who I'm with, by the way. So
right.
Yeah.
Nah, that's real. So MSM, she came back through with some context, Daryl. So I'm gonna swing back over to you. So she said he had a lot of debt, over 150K, and he spent a lot of money on activities, golf, skiing. And she told him that she was concerned with his spending habits, and she didn't think that he budgeted. So she additionally said she thinks that he might have said that because he thought that she was trying to change him. So with that in mind, going back to her original question of the effects of resentment, you know, that man might have resented her because of that.
So I've been working on this working theory. I talked to you about it, Jay, when we was doing the setup.
Yeah.
If everybody's seen The Godfather in here, have you seen JD? You seen The Godfather before? The original. All right. Remember when Michael was talking to Tom Hagen and he says, "You can't be my consigliere no more because you're not a wartime consigliere." Remember he said it, he's like, "You need to send you to Vegas because you know how to work within the business stuff, but we finna go to war right now, and I can't have you as my number 3. And what we finna be doing here in New York." That's the same thing with relationships. There's wartime consiglieres, and then there's peacetime consiglieres. Both of them have advantages and disadvantages. Peacetime consiglieres are going to enhance what's already working well, but they don't work well in a time that may be bad or strife. But on the other hand, that person that can work well within strife does not know how to work in a just cool period.
Mm-hmm.
Like where it's just easy. Like, no, it's got to be something going on. We got to fix this. We got to do this. We got to do this. The idea is to be both and try to mix that as both together as a person, being a wartime and a peacetime consigliere to your mate. But he may have been thinking that you were going to change up some stuff, and he wasn't ready for that. He wasn't ready for a wartime consigliere, and that's cool. He lets you know, and you keep it pushing.
Nah, that's right.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, go ahead, jump in. It's a working theory. This is brand new.
And I see where you're going with that. But I think that it goes back to what we were talking about just a minute ago about men sacrificing, right? Mm-hmm. So if she's concerned about his spending and his budgeting, then that kind of shows that he's not willing to do any sacrifice, right? Because if I like to play golf and it costs me money every time I go play golf, mm-hmm. let's just say I'm going 4 times a month to play golf. That's once a week.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If I'm not willing to sacrifice to go down to maybe twice a week to show her that I'm willing to save that money, then I think that that's a problem as well. And the reason that I say that is because women need is not just the fact that they want. Women need to feel financially secure, right? Mm-hmm. And that's part of that's part of that being willing to cooperate, because, and I can understand why she would have some concerns about it, and I understand the other side of it too, because if he's stopping something that he likes to be with you, and deep down that's something that he wants to do, then yeah, he's going to resent you for it, because he feels like that you're trying to change him. But at the same time, if you really want to be committed to a woman and be committed to that relationship and move forward and show her that you can be a leader and show her that you can make her feel financially secure, you have to come to a compromise somewhere. You still play golf, but maybe you only play twice a month instead of 4 times a month.
Nah, that's fair. That's fair. Yo, good stuff, guys. Want to give a huge shout out to Natasha, to Tiffany, and to Krista for joining us. Really appreciate that. So we did have a question come in from Tiffany. Let's start with you, D. So Tiffany says, if you love a woman and she discovers before marriage that she is infertile, would you refuse to marry her based upon that serious factor?
No, that's a dream scenario. Because I want to adopt a little white baby anyway, and that'd be all about what I would want to do, like, and I'm gonna braid him up. I'm gonna let him think he's black until he go like to college, like, and be like, hey man, I know I told you was black, but check it out. I credit score went up from having you, so that's all you know who you are.
Yo, you are pure comedy, D.
But no, honestly, if you love somebody, that shouldn't matter if you really want to be. Now, if that's his big thing with that, then y'all weren't meant to be together, and that's fine.
Okay, got you. What's your take on that, JD?
To me, I think that and this is gonna sting a little bit.
It ain't always funny as mine.
Brace yourselves.
This ain't the white baby. JD looked at the camera like, this ain't the white baby right here.
Right.
Yeah, this is gonna sting just a little bit, because for me and a lot of men that want kids and don't have kids of their own, then that's gonna be a deal breaker. And that's one thing that that's one conversation.
All y'all don't need kids though. That's the thing. I keep telling all y'all don't need kids. I know.
Yeah, everybody. I agree with you 100%. Everybody does not need kids.
No, you don't.
Yeah, some people don't need kids, and man, some people really should be banned from having children. But
I wish you like.
Yeah, for men that want kids and don't, especially if you don't have any. Mm-hmm. That's a conversation, that you have up front and early, because, me at the age that I am now, I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste anybody else's time either.
Okay.
So I heard one of my friends say a while back that, he wanted kids to the point to where he wouldn't date a woman if she didn't have at least one already because he wanted to know that she was able to have kids. Yeah.
Yo, that's the first time I ever heard somebody with that requirement.
That's how. Hey, I don't agree with it, but hey, that's him.
How does he not know that his fish gonna be swimming correctly?
That's true. That's true too. But you know, I was when I was on the market or whatever, I met this young lady and everything was fine. Everything was cool. She was nice or whatever. She was everything that I've been looking for. But she had 2 kids already.
And she didn't want no more.
Well, she couldn't have anymore.
Oh wow!
So after the first date or second date, I had to cut it off because I already knew that hey, this is somebody that I'm not going to be serious with. This is somebody that I can't be serious with. So I'm not going to play with anybody's emotions, anybody's time. Time is something that you can't get back. So I would rather just cut it off early. Now, if it's later on in a relationship and neither one of you know that she can't have kids, then that might be a little bit different. That's another hard discussion that you would have to make. I've definitely
get
heard
you a white baby, JD. I'm trying to get everybody to do this, man.
Look, man, my mother asked me a couple months ago. My mother asked me, this is how serious it is. My mother asked me if I had ever considered adoption. And that was an absolute
telling you we're getting a white baby. See, we starting a Facebook group, black men with white babies.
Nah, I don't. That's not me. You know, I want my own legacy. You know,
that's real.
And, you know,
I'm gonna be on all the things. I'm gonna be like the Joe Kennedy. Like I'll be sitting there, like what was it on the episode of Fresh Prince where he was sitting there on the side of the court waving and everything, like that's me.
Oh man, that is hilarious. Yo, so we got some really great questions over here in the chat. Let me see which one I want to go to first. So okay, so this kind of piggybacks off of the same question, and maybe you'll be able to answer this one pretty quickly, JD. So Krista wants to know, what if you found this out, a woman, her inability to have children, what if you found out that after you're already in love? Would that change the response that you just gave?
And again, this is gonna sting a little bit.
JD, you do a lot of stingers here, man.
Yeah. I mean, we just keeping it real, right?
I can't wait to watch
gotta keep it real, yo. This is MenChat. Always keep it 100.
Yeah. Well, we gotta keep it real over here. So that's a discussion that you all would have to have because again, this is just me. I want a legacy, and I think that that's something that I'm building toward. And I think that that's something that I deserve. That would be a serious conversation. For example, and I'm not condoning this, but I heard of a couple that was in this exact situation. Found out later on after they'd been together for a little while and were married that she couldn't have children. Well, she was willing, to I guess kind of it wouldn't be a surrogate because it wasn't coming from the wife, but allowing him, to have a child with someone else just to have that child, and they raise it together. But I mean that's a tough discussion, and it's really not fair. Sometimes life isn't fair, but I mean, if that's something that is a deal breaker, then sometimes it's just a deal breaker.
And you don't want the person to resent you either. When we talk about resentment before, right? Because if that man really wants kids and he really wants a legacy like JD, and that's super important to him, he's going to end up resenting you potentially because of the fact of that. So that could potentially be a resentment thing when we talking about that earlier.
Now, if you know straight up front.
Yeah, that's different.
That's different.
Yeah, it's different if she held on to that. If she held on to it and waited until you fell in love and then was like, oh, let me tell you, Yeah, that's a whole different ball game right there.
She'd be like, "Have you joined this group called Black Men with White Babies?" You might.
Oh man, yo, D, you are hilarious. All right, so we got another question. I'm gonna come over to you with this one, D. So Katiwe says, what role, if any, does mental health play when selecting your partner and eventually your wife? So they want to know, does this at all factor into the quote unquote good woman definition that we were discussing earlier?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want nobody, I saw that. Did y'all see that that it was a meme, it was like a woman had great penmanship too, wrote all over her man's car and all that, because I guess he stayed out for New Year's Eve and said he was at work. She wrote
I
over
didn't
his
see
whole
that.
car. The penmanship was amazing, for the record. But it was like, it was clear. You could see, like, I mean, it was literally like when you realize you didn't stay in handwriting class long enough as a kid. When she did, and she wrote up. But you don't want anybody doing that. But at the same time, you don't want to put someone in something where they would feel in a position of being in a mental state like that. But yeah, mental health is definitely 100% thing. I mean, I just think, I mean, I'm already crazy enough myself. I don't need to bring nobody else along into this madness.
Nah, that's real. That's real. Anything you want to add to that, JD?
Yeah, not much.
Okay.
And again, this is gonna sting a little bit.
Yo, JD with the stingers, man.
Look, I'm just of the opinion that
I love it.
Black people need therapy, man.
Yeah.
Black people need therapy. And the way a lot of us, not all, but the way a lot of us were brought up, man, we were taught that mental health was something for crazy people, something for white folk, you know what I'm saying? But we have mental issues and stresses and traumas that we need to deal with ourselves. So just for me, I don't think that I could deal with anybody with like serious mental issues that like is on like some real heavy serious medication or anything like that.
Right.
But if you're not in therapy or have not been in therapy, I'm not dealing with you at all.
Yeah. Nah, that's real. That's real, man. I appreciate that. So we did have one other question. It kind of ties into the fertility question. JD, she says, so when should a woman share that personal information about infertility when dating a man? At what stage? So when would you want that information to be made known to you?
As early as possible, because like I said, the lady that I was speaking of just a second ago, that's one of the first things that I ask. Hey, do you have kids? What do you think about kids? Or do you want more? And she's, oh, well, I can't have more. Sorry. Let me move on.
Yo, that's real. That's real. Yo, JD, they got questions for you all day, JD. So
JD, you see how I got out of that? I'm
yeah, I know. Like,
saying we're gonna have to get real.
Yeah, we gotta keep real.
I'm sitting at the club with you. I've been backing away from the bar on you, like.
But JD is keeping it 100, man, because I'm sure that there are a lot of men who have this perspective. And I actually saw a comment. Let me actually go back to it because Jojo actually shared a comment and that was a little bit different, where he was saying that he would never date a woman who wanted kids. So it would be an unlikely situation, honestly. So you got other brothers on the flip side where it's like if they don't want children, hearing that a woman wants them could be a total deal breaker for them. So I do just want to point it out that, the men are here, they're giving their honest perspectives. And, clearly we have differing perspectives, and that's important for the ladies to pick up on that. So here's the question from Tanisha to you, JD. Would you consider going to a fertility specialist before you decide to marry a lady that you are committed to?
Absolutely.
Okay. I was going to say, JD, I knew this was coming on. I just had a feeling that the fertility specialist is coming up. Thank you, Tanisha.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about being open, honest, transparent, and figure out what's going on so everybody knows what's going on up front and can be on the same page up front. Just like, I had someone ask me, hey, I need you to go get an STD test just so I know what's up. Not
That's
saying
real.
that we're gonna be intimate right off the bat or until we get married or whatever, but hey, you got to be willing to do that. Okay, let's do it.
Nah, that's
Nothing to
real.
hide.
That's real. So going back to our topic at hand, talking about love and men's perspective on it, I want to ask y'all a real question. You know, this is more of a personal question. I'm gonna start with you, D.
I
Have
can't
you
answer
ever?
no. My wife is actually sitting on the other side of my thing right now. So a lot of my
Okay.
a lot of my
So
shenanigans will be
yeah,
ceasing.
so this, I don't want to jam. I don't want to jam
She heard me in
nobody
my
up.
office talking. She's like, "What y'all in here talking about?"
Right. I don't want to jam nobody up, man. So I will definitely pivot. I'll come at you with a different question. So here's
No,
this.
you can bring it at me. You can bring it at me. I just know how to dodge it. It's just, I know how to move around. We move around.
Are you sure? I'm giving you an
I'm sure,
opportunity.
man.
You
I'm
sure?
sure.
Okay.
I'm sure.
So my question is, at any time, have you ever told a woman that you loved her even though you didn't?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Plain
And
simple,
JD, what
yeah.
about you?
Yeah. In your younger days, when you don't really know exactly what love is, yeah, of course.
I told
Okay,
I told a woman, "Mama, I loved her too." Just cause I was.
Yo, D, you got a question? Somebody was like, "Yo, are you a comedian?" I'm legitimately asking.
No, I'm not at all. I'm not at all. But everybody can check out the podcast and where I do funny stuff on
Right.
there. SOC Network. I have a whole I do some comedic stuff. I do a whole he's a dude that got out of jail that is like a conspiracy theorist, but he loves Kobe Bryant. It's a whole thing. So
All right, so with that question out of the way, I want to know, how does telling a woman, or how does a man telling a woman that he loves her differ from him really being in love? What do you guys think about that? What's the biggest difference between saying the words and not meaning them versus actually being in love with that woman?
I'm about to take the bow out on this one. I ain't did that in a long time. So
That's fair.
I'm just of the opinion that if a man like really loves you, you should not have to question the fact that he's going to tell you and he's going to show you. And the way that a man shows you that he loves you is by providing you with protection, leadership, financial security, making sure you're emotionally secure too. If a man is not doing that, then chances are he could just be capping. You know what I'm saying? And then going back to another point from earlier, sacrificing that time because I'll just take me for example, and I know I know a lot of men that are like this too. You know, men that are going after the bag, that are on their purpose and trying to do something with their lives to make the future easier. They're not going to have a lot of time. They are not going to have a lot of time, and I think ladies need to understand this up front, because if you want to deal with somebody successful or somebody that's ambitious, he's not going to have a lot of time. But if he's willing to sacrifice that time, like Dee said earlier, and willing to make some time, even if y'all are just sitting down together while he's getting some work done on the laptop or whatever, he's going to make that time just to be in your presence. So I think that that's something that really should be looked at and vetted, properly. If he loves me, even though he's busy, he's going to try to make some time for me.
I want to change my answer originally. If they want to stay with you during this quarantine period, that's when you know that y'all supposed to be together. Because if he figure out a way and be like, you know what? So my mom's be staying over here sometimes, and then my kids be over. You can't quarantine with me. Maybe then he don't want to be with you. That's what I think the new thing is. If they want to quarantine with you.
That's the new standard, huh?
That's the new standard. Quarantine
that's
with
a major standard right there. Nah, man, that's good. That's good. And I appreciate you for breaking that down, JD, because that's important. And men will say that they're in love because, like both of you said, men will have the tendency to say it and not mean it. And it's definitely important for women to be able to discern the difference between a man just saying it versus him actually meaning that he is in love with a woman. So, nah, that's real. That's real. And with that in mind, this is a question that just came to my mind. Like, do you feel like there's a difference between the way that women tend to define love versus the way men define it?
Of course.
Okay, what do you think that difference is, D?
I mean, it's a women thing. A woman in here, so I'm not even gonna even really answer that. I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one. Y'all brought back over to me.
No problem, no problem. JD, what's your take?
I think that the difference in how women show love from men is that women should be more nurturing to a man. Checking to make sure if he ate. You know what I'm saying? Feeling good for making a good meal for you. Showing you that hey, if you're busy, I'm gonna make life easier for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna cook some food for you. I'm gonna send you home with meals for the week. Or hey, I'm gonna come.
Boy, you can go JD from Alabama, boy. He got all his meals.
Yeah. Hey.
Alabama bread, baby.
Yeah, all his is meals. Like every one of his steps is meals. Like make sure I got lunch. Make sure I got me a snack. Make sure.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at it, man.
And then outside of that, hey, making sure my calendar is up to date so I don't miss anything. So I don't miss a meeting. So I don't miss a live. So I don't miss, you know what I'm saying? Anything to help make your life easier is typically how women would show their love for a man.
I'm gonna answer now. Peace. Just give me peace. Just give me peace. That's it.
So you feel like peace isn't a part of the woman's definition of love, D?
No, it ain't peace. That's why we asked for it. We don't get it. If it was like that, it'd be easy. If it was
somebody, please give me some peace.
Right. Yeah. Nah, that's real. So we got 3 good questions in the chamber for the ladies. So get ready, fellas. So here's the first one, y'all. Krista is piggybacking off of the previous question. She wants to know, what about when he likes you? So not love, but likes you. What things will a guy do when he quote unquote likes you?
He's gonna. I'm gonna jump out the window here. Mm-hmm. You should rather have somebody like you than love you.
Why you say that?
Because like is like I like being in your presence. You can love somebody that feel their obligation or feel that like that's like your family and you're like, oh, I got to take care of them. I love them, their family. But like is like I generally want to be in your presence, regardless of what's going on at some point. Like, of course you love them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying just because you love somebody don't mean you like them. Is my point.
True.
That's true. I give you that.
Yeah, yeah. That's another topic. But if he genuinely likes you, again, the initial thing is that time. And
for JD, he gonna be like, if you food prep for him for the week, you know what I'm saying? He already
you already know. But yeah, if he likes you, he's gonna call you, he's gonna text you, he's gonna try to make a date with you.
You got to watch out for that. I know brothers that now that got it set up where it actually sends out these text messages for them pre-set up.
Yo, they got it automated.
You can pre-schedule your text out. Like you can organize your day and night and say like these 5 numbers getting these texts throughout the day, and you ain't even doing it. You just set up your career path for the
week. They treating women like sales funnels, man.
Yes,
they got it like
and they send in a drip email campaign
right to your text. Yo, that's next level, man. That's some next level stuff, dude.
Scheduling text messages, huh?
Right.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I went back in the game, that's what I would do.
Oh man, yo, that's different. That's different right there. All right, so here's a good one. Tanisha was saying, JD, you represent for Alabama and you're restoring her faith in Alabama men. So there you go, JD.
Tanisha, make sure you got the food. I didn't know this about Alabama men until JD. Food prepping for the week is mandatory for my brothers from the
Central. Food is important, man. No question. So here, I know we had a second question. Let's see, where is it? Oh, right here. So D, Tiffany had this question. Do you think a man has to be in love before he will wait to have sex before marriage?
I'm sorry. I mean, so you're saying that will he? Are
So
you
if a
asking
man
him if
agrees
he'll
to
wait?
have, this is what how I'm interpreting it. If a man agrees to wait to have sex with a woman before marriage, is he only making that agreement because he's in love with her?
Oh, you talking about the Fresh Prince where Will got Kim Fields to marry him and that Janice be the pastor. I mean, I think over time you'd figure it out that he wasn't, willing to, stay, committed to that idea of you not want to have sex before marriage before at some point. Like it would get caught up at some point,
Okay.
unless y'all getting married super fast. It would show itself over time that he's not about that life for real.
Okay. What's your take on this one, JD? Do you think a man has to be in love to agree to that?
Yeah, I do. I think a man definitely has to be in love with a woman to agree with that, and he has to be in love with somebody else in order to do that, and that's Jesus. He has to.
Of course, go in Alabama.
Yeah, he's going to have to really, really love the Lord, to agree to that too. Now, you gotta you gotta think about this on a little bit deeper of a level now.
Okay.
Because let's just be real. In 2022, how many people have waited or are still waiting to have sex? Not many. Now, if you are somebody that has already had children, then I mean, we all know that. We know that you're not a virgin.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I want to say, what's the point? But if you're genuinely doing it because you're trying to have a better relationship with God, then everything needs to line up. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is, if you want to wait to have sex with somebody until you're married, then you don't need to be doing anything else either. And if you're doing it to line up with the Bible and to have a better relationship with God, then don't tell me you want to wait to have sex, but then you're still in the club thotting it up every weekend. I mean,
so
real.
JD, is it fair to say, and this is kind of how I'm interpreting what you're saying, so definitely let me know if I'm off course here. But is it fair to say that if the man hasn't made the decision to wait for a spiritual reason, then it shouldn't necessarily, he shouldn't be making that decision just for a woman? Is that kind of in line with what you're saying to a certain extent?
You said if it's not for a spiritual reason,
yeah, like if like you mentioned, like if he isn't doing it because he's trying to honor God or it aligns with his religious beliefs, but he's only making the decision to wait because of this woman, that maybe that's not necessarily a genuine rational reason for him to do it.
I see exactly what you're saying. So if his spiritual desires are not in line with yours, then that's something that you need to look at, from the beginning. Are you all equally yoked? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because it works better if two people are on the same page. Let me just throw it out here. So if you have a man that's into church, right, and he's very active in the church, and then the lady's not, let's just flip it. If the man wants to wait until marriage, and that woman is not into the church like that, and she's not living it, then they might not be a good match. And same thing, and vice versa. I would really caution people that if you are a Christian and you're really trying to live it, then you need to be with somebody on that same path too. Because let's just
right,
be honest.
JD right here, right? JD right up here, right?
Yeah. These gentlemen up here. Now, don't get me wrong. It's some upstanding men that are really good men, but not necessarily religious. You know what I'm saying? But I think that for men, it would almost have to be, something spiritual, because you're honoring not just that woman, but you're honoring God too. Because if you're looking at it from a man that's not looking at it from a spiritual standpoint, that's not really subscribed to that, then he's looking at it like, okay, you already had children or whatever. You didn't make Pookie and Ray Ray wait, so why are you making me wait?
Nah, that's real. That's real. Nah, that's dope. That's dope.
Mhm.
All right, so we did have another question. Let's see, right here. Tanisha, coming over to you, D. She wants to know, does it matter who says I love you first?
Nah, it don't matter.
JD, what's your take? Does it matter?
No, I don't think it matters. It most times is usually contrary to popular belief. A lot of times it's the man first. You know what I'm saying? Women are sometimes a little bit more hesitant to release everything. You know what I'm saying? Until she's sure that that man does. But you know, if both people are mature and on the same page, I don't think it matters.
Nah, that's real. That's real. So let's see. I think we got here's a question. So Katiwe wants to know,
Boy, JD,
what-
they coming at you, boy. they already maxed me out. They're like, this nigga over here is a Hebrew. He's all green. Go ahead, bro. He's talking about white baby groups and everything.
You funny, D. So Katiwe says, JD, what conditions are men creating that allow a woman to feel safe enough to nurture freely? They bringing out the deep questions for you, JD.
Yeah, I see.
I said it early, JD.
It sounds like I'm not sure who Katewe is, but it sounds like it might be.
Hold on, there's something additional. They say, I say this as a person who is a natural giver and struggle to discern what is too much, so then I do nothing.
So that means you are doing nothing. So I'm trying to figure out how you're a giver if you're doing nothing. Because I learned something a long time ago. You only can do the maximum amount of who you are as a person to somebody. You can't worry about necessarily what they're doing. You got to do and be the best person you want to be, because that's all you're gonna have at the end of the day. You can't do a tit for tat thing and like, oh well, if you're digging them, you do what you feel you're comfortable doing and be you, because that's all you can have at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, you have to say, I did my best for them, or I did my best as a person. Not like, oh, well, they ain't did this, so I ain't gonna do this. If you feel like doing it, do it.
Right. I agree with what D just said. But just as a caveat, I'm really big on reciprocation from both ways. Because I'm a very, very strong component of, if a man is receiving affection, love, cooperation, or whatever, it's gonna make him go even harder for you. You know what I'm saying? So I think any good man that's vetted properly and that is on his grind and doing what he needs to be doing, not I'm talking about the brothers over here, not over here. So those kind of brothers are definitely going to reciprocate. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, you know what? She fixed my lunch today, so let me take her out later. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that it has to be tit for tat or anything like that, but natural reciprocation should make a woman feel secure. Hey, I'm gonna make him a cup of coffee just like he made me a cup of coffee the other day.
Nah, that's good. That's good. So here's my next question for you guys. And I'm gonna come over to you with this one, D. What is a key indicator that a man is beginning to fall in love with a woman?
Dang, I'll let you use my car. and like, oh yeah, you finna run the store. Go ahead and use the whip. Go ahead, boom, throw the keys. Don't even think about it. It's little small stuff like that, where because I'm very possessive of my whips. So it'd be like, oh no, go ahead into the business. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, it's like going to the gas station. You just throw money out there, when you can fill up your tank. Like, whatever, go ahead, girl, take the keys. Go do your thing. But it's this comfortability with the person, and it's more comfortable. You're more open to giving more of yourself and more of the things around you and yourself as well. and telling them your personal things about you, particularly things that people don't know in the world that you can share about you to give you more insight into who you are. That's what you get it right there.
No, I can dig that.
And you can feel it too when someone tells you something you like, oh wow, and you start you like wow. So like that in the moments like yo, like this person is giving something to me, and they don't have to be financially to be like themselves of what a part of them.
Nah, that's good. JD, what do you say? What's a key indicator that a man's beginning to fall in love with a woman?
One of the biggest key indicators. Watch this. This is very important. He's going to start including you in his future plans. If you are included in his future plans and you start hearing him talking about, hey, well, where we are going to move to, or where we could raise kids at, or what kind of house we could build or move into in the future. I think that's a really good indicator, because if a man doesn't want you in the future, he's not going to plan for the future with you. You know what I'm saying? He might just be in the right now, having a good time with you in the right now. But once he starts talking about the future, you're on to something.
Nah, that's good. That's good. So here's my next question for you both. I'm gonna come over to you with this one, D. Has there ever been a time when you thought you were in love with a woman, but you discovered later that nah, it wasn't really love? And if so, how were you able to discern that it wasn't love?
Ooh. Dang, she left the room, so we can actually get real deep. Man, really, it was more of a thing of you look, and this is 100% hindsight, because I mean I've been out the game for, I mean I've been doing like a year. I mean, was it manslaughter with 10 years in jail? I've been doing a manslaughter charge right now, so I ain't seen what the regular world has been like for for a long time. But back then it was more of a thing of like, yo, like I was just kind of moving. And shaking it. Like if you weren't kind of moving the way I was kind of moving, it was never going to be like that. And I knew a lot of times they weren't aligned with the way I wanted to kind of look at my future and the way I wanted to live my life overall. And you just get to the point where you have to be real with them, number one, and yourself. Well, yourself, number one, because that's who the person you have to be true to the most. Then to them, because you owe them, even if you did love them and you may have fell out, you owe them at least to be real with them and let them go on their own way. You know, as the great Mason Betha said, I want you to be happy, even if it's not with me.
Nah, I ain't mad at that. So, JD, what about you, man? Have you ever been in love with a woman or thought you were in love with her to discover later that, nah, it wasn't love? And what helped you to come to that realization that it wasn't love?
I absolutely have been in that situation, and later on come to find out that it was just infatuation. But the red flags were there, you know, early on. But the thing that,
I mean, I had a girl choke me one time. I mean, let's keep it real. Choke me in my car.
That's definitely a sign that it's not love, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not love. I don't even think that's like D. She didn't even like that.
But yeah, I've definitely been in that situation before, and I found out simply because of, you know, just paying attention, and later on vetting, you know, asking questions, and then, you know, just saying, you know what, this didn't line up to what I'm trying to do. You know, this didn't line up to my future plans. And then another thing too that led me to find out that I really wasn't in love like I thought was the relationship she had with her mother. You know what I'm saying? Her mother gave really, really bad advice. You know, so I was like, and she listened to it. You know, and yeah, when I'm not gonna say that. I'll leave it right there.
You ain't got nobody in the room, JD. Go ahead.
And I'm gonna leave that right there. Just because I don't want to put anybody on blast.
Right.
Okay, I got you.
I don't want to put everybody's business out there, but the relationship that she had with her mother was definitely a key that was like, you know what, this ain't normal, and this is not what I'm trying to do. So
yeah. So that brings up a question. How big of a role do the mothers, the sisters, the women in particular that are speaking into that woman's life, what role does that play for you in deciding whether or not you go all the way, meaning marry her or fully commit to her?
You mean the women that's in her life?
Yeah, well, how you saying like this woman is her mother is speaking into her ear.
Rubbing his hands like he
right.
He would,
so you know it gets serious then.
yeah, man. It plays a big part, and you really have to look at this, because just like the lady I was just talking about, the relationship with her mother. I mean, she just gave terrible advice. You know, that wasn't it wasn't conducive to a relationship. Oh yeah, go out and have fun, do whatever you want to, and live your life. Oh, you can dress how you want to. If he has a problem with how you dress, that's his problem, not yours. You can do whatever you want to. That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? And just like I said earlier about how paying attention to how she treats her father.
Right.
You got to look at the relationship that she has with her mother too, and even if her mother is a little bit out there, a little bit far left, if she can recognize that, and then she's like, hey, my mom is this, but that's not me. That's not what I want to be. You know what I'm saying? Then that's different. But that plays a big part. Mother, sisters, everything.
Them aunties.
Yeah, aunties. I mean, because let's just be honest.
Yeah.
If you got a mother and 3 daughters, right, and the mother and 2 out of the 3 daughters are thoughts, chances are that 3rd daughter is gonna be a thought too.
Sometimes there's also the like sometimes the eggs don't go right, and the system is like, and that's all off on his mother. So it depends on how she is, her associated with the family. Like if she rolling with them all the time, yes. But if she could be that outside, situation. If she's like, I don't even want to go over here, but let's go. That's when you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Nah, that's real.
But if she with the mess too, just like the rest of them. Yeah, mama thought. Yep.
I mean, I used to, like in my previous life, I dated a woman whose daddy was a big dope dealer. But you wouldn't know. They was like super upscale, all that. But when it rubber met the road, they was all about, you better have this bread because we used to this bread. And it was like, well, you can just go leave him and get with somebody else. That was the mentality her mother had. So I mean, I'm giving JD his credence what it's saying. That's real.
That's real. So Tiffany asked a question, D. I'm gonna send this one over to you. What red flags do you men look for when vetting?
If her dad was a dope dealer, like I mean, I already got the story right there.
Yeah, and if her mom is a thought.
Daddy a dope dealer, mama's a thought.
or the boy or the husband, or I mean not husband, the wife of a dope dealer. Same thing.
That's real. That's real. Anything else?
Yeah, but seriously though, on a serious note, like I said a minute ago, I typically don't want to deal with anybody, a lady that's either not in therapy or has not gone through therapy.
Hey, speak on it. Speak on it.
To me, that's a big red flag, because, like I said, most of us, come from a similar background. Let's just be honest.
And we all black. We all need therapy off the top.
Exactly. We all have some traumas or some issues, something that we need to work through, even if it's something like, oh, well, I'm just not a good communicator. I haven't really been through anything in my life, or I haven't experienced any past traumas, but I need help communicating. I shut down. You need therapy to help work through that. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that you can do on your own.
Nah, that's real. That's real. Nah, I love it, man. Yo, y'all dropping so many gems. Chat, if y'all have any more questions, definitely share them with us. Let us know what y'all think. Now, there was a question that I wanted to ask, right? Because there's always this issue about words versus actions. And I'm curious, when it comes to a man's love for a woman, does his words or his actions speak louder?
Actions.
I think it's all about the person, whatever person's love language is that they want, that's what they need. It doesn't matter if the person's showing you if their love language isn't acts of service. It doesn't matter. So whatever their love language is, you need to be behind that and whatever their love language is.
So I want to be clear. You're talking about the love language of the woman?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. And JD, you said actions. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think the man's actions, because like I said, men, anybody can spend their money on whatever they want to spend their money on, right? But if he's putting in the work to make sure that you're financially secure, and he might not be the most emotional person in the world, but if he's checking in with you on a regular basis to make sure that you're okay, that's actions. He might not say, "Oh, baby, I love you so much, and you're the wind and the rain that flowers my soul." He might not say that all the time, but if he's checking in with you to make sure that you're okay, making sure bills are paid, making sure you're safe and secure, and that you got everything you need, and he's not emotionally abusing you, I think he can show you with those actions, even if he's not writing you a soliloquy or saying certain things every day.
Nah, that's good. That's good. Anything else you want to add, D?
No. He got it right there. He hit the ball at the park with that.
Nah, that's real. That's real. So here's another question that I had. Do you believe that it's harder for men or women to fall in love?
That's a good question.
I think it's easy for humans to fall in love. I wouldn't even say men or women. I say humans.
Okay.
Easy.
And can you elaborate on that?
But I think it's hard to stay in love. That's the thing. I can go. There's the Carrie's one that song. Love's gonna get you. I love my car. Everybody has somebody loves them. I love my car. I love my shoes. I love anything. But to stay in love with something is the most important thing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add, JD?
Yeah, man, that's deep, and I think you hit the nail right on the head with that one, man, because it's easy, to get to that point of being in love with somebody, but it's another story, to stay in love and work through the issues that you might have come up. But at the same time, I think that in most cases, these days in modern times, a lot of times I think it's harder for the women to fall in love simply because they've been burned so many times or whatever. I think women are harder to trust than men are. Men can go through a lot and have their heart broken many times, but typically men are less emotional, so we're more willing to trust. You know what I'm saying? When women have gone through some things, it's a lot harder to trust because if you ask almost any woman that's been through something or been burned a lot of times, right? When they find somebody that's good for them, it's going to scare them and they're going to run off because they're expecting something to go wrong, right? Or they're looking for something not to be perfect. So I think women definitely are hard, have it harder falling in love than men a lot of times.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, that's real. So Tiffany has another question. D, she says, how do men define love?
What do you mean? Like,
yeah, like that's a
that's so Tiffany,
I just the whole thing like what Kara's wants about, people always say what they love. They love their car, they love their shoes, they love this spot, they love this. What is look? I mean, that's a big question.
Yeah, it is. It is. Because I mean, earlier when you were making a distinction between like and love, right? You were saying that like is something that you value higher than love to a certain extent.
Yes.
I would be interested in knowing a little bit more specific, but on a broad scale, For those that don't know, I'm a preacher and a pastor. So
we know.
I love the Bible, man. I love the Bible, but
yeah,
if you want to just define love, I mean, everybody. Well, I'm not gonna say everybody, but if you've been to church, if you've been to Sunday school more than twice, you know what I'm saying. You've heard John 3:16. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. If a man is giving something that's dear to him, or sacrificing something to be with you, or sacrificing something to show you that He loves you, I think that's a good way to define love. But on the other hand, too, you got to look at that word "so." God so loved the world, and that's not typically a word that we define, right? But we don't know how many gallons of water are in the ocean, right? But it's so many. Am I making sense? We don't know how many grains of sand are out on the beach, but it's so many. We don't know how many fish are down in the ocean, but it's so many.
Where's
that's
my
something that's something that we can't even define. So a lot of times men, if a man truly loves you, it's going to be some ways that he can't define. He might not can say exactly how much he loves you, but he loves you so much. And we're talking about these guys over here.
So it's almost to a certain extent, it's almost, I'm not going to say it's undefinable, but it's something that you really can't explain in words.
As the great Alexander O'Neill said, love makes no sense.
So we did have another question come in from Tiffany. It went back to the therapy that we were discussing. She wants to know, so would you attend therapy along with premarital counseling, or require that she has had additional therapy before dating you? What's your take on that, D?
I had a homeboy once that he was dating a girl, and he was doing therapy, and she laughed and went in on him about going to therapy.
Wow.
But she later apologized for it. But after things kind of resolved and they ended up breaking up, you could see, you thought it was, like, oh, I don't need no therapy and blah, blah, blah. That was a red flag. He should have known it was a red flag for him. And that he was trying to improve himself and do himself better by going to therapy. And she thought it was like I don't need no therapy. You that's for you. That's a thing of like, therapy is a good thing. My wife goes to therapy. I go. We did it before. We've done it during, the whole nine. Keep in mind, I've been doing a manslaughter charge. So for me to be able to do my time correctly, I needed help. I needed help to do my time. They say you got to do your time, but I had to go do the arts and crafts section. I needed to go do all this, and that's therapy to keep things going. I need to, I go to that cell.
Say arts and crafts though.
Yeah, arts and crafts. I'm out here getting law degrees. I'm getting psychology degrees and PhDs. We're doing it all to make sure we do our time. We do our time standing up.
My.
I ain't snitching on nobody. I ain't trying to leave the asylum. I'm just, I'm just trying to do my time. I just want to do my time correctly.
10 toes down, huh?
Yeah. Right. I ain't like I said, I ain't snitching. I ain't telling nobody else to get them in here.
So what's your take on the therapy along with premarital counseling, or requiring it in addition to or before dating her, JD?
Well, additional therapy before dating, as long as she's been in therapy and been able to work through those issues, then that's fine. But like with my lady now, man, I told her from the jump, that I wanted us to do, couples therapy, marriage therapy, all of that stuff, right, before we get married or whatever. And I think that's important. You know what I'm saying? Just like Dee said a second ago. Yeah, if a lady's not willing to do that, red flag. If a man's not willing to do that, red flag.
Right. And somebody trying to laugh or clown you about it too. That's definitely a
Right.
red flag.
Exactly.
For
Exactly.
sure. Because they don't even see the value in it. Yeah. All right. So I got another question. So we were talking about the falling in love piece. You know, there's this concept of falling out of love. And I just want to just throw it out there just for people that may believe in that concept. Do you believe it's possible for a man to fall out of love with a woman? What's your take on that, D? Oh, you're muted, D. Hey, D, you muted.
Yep. I know.
Okay.
I realized it after the fact. So I was saying, say the question one more time for me.
Yeah. So do you believe that it's possible for a man to fall out of love?
Is it hard for a man to fall? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
No, is it possible? Do you believe that's a
Yeah,
possibility?
anybody can fall in love. That's
Okay.
This is what it is. This is people. Like I said, people are evolving and changing constantly. And I've always thought that men look at women that we want them to never change, and women sometimes look at men that they want us to change. So it's a constant battle between these two different kind of things of like, I want you to change, and a man looking like, no, I want you to be the exact same way that I met you December the 5th, 2011. I want you to be the exact same way then is now. And that's the battle of an understanding that these things are going to change and you have to evolve and evolve together over time. And sometimes you ain't going to always be, on point with it. Yes, to Tiffany, I see her in the chat. Yes, I am comparing marriage to prison time because of the way you have to do a lot of different things with it. I am on a manslaughter charge now, but they're trying to upgrade me to a full murder. I'm on my route to a full murder.
You gotta stop, bro. Yo, you killing the algorithm, D. Like, you can't be saying these words.
Look, I'm coming out. Look, I'm coming out. I got a kufi over here. I got my pure rug and stuff I use in my cell. The whole nine.
Oh man, yo, D, you trying
but
to
I
get
choose
me,
to be
you
in
trying
this
to get monetized before we get monetized, D.
I choose to be here though. That's the every day you have to choose to be with that person. I choose to be in this asylum.
Nah, that's real. That's real. And that's a question that came up. I'm gonna come back to that, but I want to get JD's thoughts. Do you think, JD, that it's possible for a man to fall out of love with a woman?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
Well, let that meal prep not show up for a couple of weeks. JD gonna be like, look here, what's going on?
Stop cooking and see what happens.
Oh, that's real.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, we know you kidding, JD.
Yeah, we know you kidding, man.
Seriously though, it is definitely possible because men are not that complicated. We are not hard to please. Once that peace starts going away, you got a problem then. Because no man wants to be in a situation to where he had a rough day at work or whatever, and then he don't want to come home to you, or he's dreading talking to you because he don't want to hear your mouth or anything like that. Right. Yeah, so it's definitely possible.
And ladies or men, if you ever see your mate just sitting in their car in front of your house for like a while, and you're sitting there, that's when you
before
know
they come in.
They gotta figure out. They gotta figure out like, all right, man, I'm gonna go in here. I gonna figure out what I'm gonna do here. They just need time to figure out all the BS that you talking about when you walk through that door potentially. Give them some peace, men and women too. Women too go through it as well. Just give that person some peace.
Right. Yeah, peace is important. Now, with the whole falling out of love thing in mind, it brings another question to me, which is, are there some signs for the ladies that can give them an indication that a man is starting to fall out of love with them?
He's sitting in that car in front of them for 30 minutes, sitting there for 30, and he always say he get home at 5:30, but you realize he's been in the driveway since 5:15.
Yeah. Now, sometimes that is a very, very big key indicator. If a man got to get himself together before he goes into the house, that's a key indicator. But at the same time, sometimes that might be a little bit. It might be a little bit different.
Okay.
And I say that because I live by myself and I do that now. You know what I'm saying? But the only reason I do that is, you know, a lot of times once I get in after working a 10-hour day, you know, sometimes I put the car in park and my legs just don't want to move.
Right, you're just sitting there. Yeah. You're just like, man.
You just sitting there. I lift the seat back and whatever. And my mom used to do that.
See, I live in a cold. I live in a cold city, JD. You ain't doing that. That's what it's like sitting there with that heat blasting and wasting all that petrol. You know,
I hear you. But yeah, and another key indicator, you know, would be, you know, if a man stops showing you that affection, you need to kind of see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, like I said earlier, men like affection, regardless of what a lot of people have to say about it. We love it. We love it. We love it. If you want your man to feel nice, rub the back of his head for a little while. We love that. But if you go to rub the back of his head and he, you know, you might want to see what's going on. Because that's an indicator of a really big problem.
Nah, I appreciate you for sharing that. And Tiffany was just giving both of y'all a shout out. She appreciate both of y'all perspectives. Thank you both for being so honest. Yeah, we appreciate that.
You know, I mean, I'm trying to be up here with JD. You know, I'm trying to stay here. Especially I found out he's a pastor. Like, oh man, now I see JD keep going up, and I'm still in the same spot.
Nah, but that's real. Like that's what MenChat is about: bringing brothers together with different perspectives. Because I think we all can learn from one another, and there are messages that'll reach some people that may not, you know, reach others. So I appreciate you, brothers, for both bringing your different perspectives to today's discussion, for sure. So one other thing that I wanted to, well, before I get to my last question, Katiwe had a question for you guys, and you kind of already hit on it a little bit, D, which is, do you believe that love is a choice?
100%. I choose to love the crazy woman that's down the hallway. I choose to. Even though, you know, some people may say I'm a hostage, and you know, whatever it may be, I choose to be a hostage. Stockholm syndrome, whatever you want to call it. But you choose to be at some point being with that person. I choose to be with her constantly. I choose to constantly work on what we got going on.
That's real.
Yeah, I agree with D 100%. You know, you can be in love with somebody, and then you make a decision one day. You know what? I'm not going to love this person anymore, and just walk away. You know, that's a choice. I also think that it's a choice to work through the issues. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so easy. I mean, we have no fault divorces now. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. As long as you pay your money, you can go get a divorce like that. But you make the choice to work through the issues. You make the choice to apologize, and you make the choice to accept the apology and move on. You know, you could be a knucklehead and not choose to forgive. You can make the choice not to forget, and if you're doing that, if you're making those bad choices that's not conducive to the relationship, then you're making the choice not to fall in love, man, or not to stay in love, like Dee said earlier, because I mean that's part of what it's all about, and I think that part of the reason of why relationships are not flourishing now is because we have not made the choice to love somebody for their good and their bad. Nobody is 100% perfect, you know.
Right.
And as long as the good is outweighing the bad, and you can work with that person, you need to make the choice to work through the issues and take their good for their bad. Because, you know, I'll just throw this out there. You know, this might be a minute example, but if you just accept the fact that, hey, when my wife comes in, she's going to take off her socks and leave them in the middle of the floor. And I've asked her 1,000 times to pick her socks up. After a while, if you know she's not going to pick the socks up, you make the choice to either fuss about it, be mad about it, or you make the choice to just pick the socks up and put them in the hamper.
Yep. Someone told me once that anyone can be fired over anything at any time. There's always a reason to fire anybody for anything, and I apply that to relationships. Yeah. You can always and have a viable, real reason why you let this person go, and it'd be fine if you told somebody, "Oh no, I get it." You know, they were leaving their socks in the room every day. It got on my nerves and it was messy. But if you choose to get over that or not, that's it, plain and simple.
Right.
Because you can always fire somebody. You can choose right now the most perfect couple. They can have a legitimate reason to not be together. They choose to be together.
That's real. Yo, before I go to my last question for you gentlemen tonight, I want to give both of you the opportunity to let the people know how they can show y'all some love and support. So let's start alphabetically. So D, how can the people get in contact with you?
My channel is SOLC Network. So we're on YouTube, but we're also on the audio side, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, anywhere you want podcasts that you can get it. You can get us there. It's a variety channel station, so we have everything from relationship shows, sports shows. We have wine shows. We have all kinds of different shows. And it's not me on the network. I ain't on every show, so you ain't got to worry about me doing craziness on every show. There's a lot of different great people we have on the network over there at the SOLC network. And we also have a second network, which is the Lando Calrissian Experience. That's our movie TV section as well. You can subscribe over there as well, and that's on the audio side as well with all those different places, Spotify, all those as well. So no, I really appreciate you having me on, man. I really appreciate JD, man. Yo, I'm tuned in, man. I'm locked in. I'm coming to your spot for a sermon every week, baby.
Man, come on over, man. Come on.
I'm about to have you on the podcast, man. I'm about to have you on the podcast. I do an interview show called My Chick. I'm about to have you on there, man.
Man, anytime, man, just hit me up and we'll do it, man. But my channel is just my name, JD Cottle. I just typed my name down in the chat. I didn't drop the link, but I put my name down in the chat. If you put my name, JD Cottle, in the chat, in the search bar on YouTube, that'll come up in my About section on the page. It's links to my Instagram. And we also have a Facebook group called Love and Relationships.
It's white kids with black men.
No,
we like no.
We ain't started that group yet.
He like no, he still ain't in that one.
But yeah, I got a private group on Facebook, you know, to where we just go talk freely. And on my channel, I have two really, really intelligent young ladies, man, and we have the conversation every week. So go over to the channel, watch some of the content, binge watch. We talk about a lot of issues just like this. And the goal to my channel is to see more two-parent households and to see the marriage rate go up. So we just talk about a lot of different issues from men's standpoint and from women's standpoint and from the standpoint of the Black community. So if that's something that you're interested in, go over, subscribe, share the video, hit the link, and join the Facebook group, and we'll do the doggone thing.
Oh, yeah. Fellas, thank you both for sharing that information. I dropped both of the links to each of your YouTube channels so everybody can go in and check it out. And we already got Natasha subscribing to both of y'all. So that's definitely what's up.
Appreciate you, Natasha.
We appreciate
love.
You know, always.
Some of the shows over there crazy now. You know, and I run the network is my thing, but especially the show commentary, they over there wild, and y'all think I'm wild. They as Brother JD said up here, I don't think they over here. We
appreciate that.
I have to rein them back. I be editing their shows like,
Nah, that's real. That's real, man. Both of y'all brothers are doing amazing things. It's a blessing to bring brothers together, y'all connecting, and definitely look forward to seeing that collab between the two of you. But like I promised, I got one last question for the both of you before we close things out. Here's my question for you guys right here. What things do men do that women often mistake for love?
Money.
Speak on that.
I know we talked about it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If I got money, that don't mean nothing to me. What they say, it ain't tricking if you got it. So if he's gonna have an abundance of money, it's got to be something else. It's time. So for a man that has all the time in the world and doesn't have the money, it's his money. The man that has all the money in the world is his time. And a lot of women get caught up in like, oh, he got me this, he did this for me, he did this. That don't mean nothing. He got a lot of bread. He got 3 other women. He doing that too. He can keep up 3 women. He got enough bread to do this. All 3 women think they in love because they got caught in that glitz and glamour of the money.
Yo, that's heavy. That's heavy. JD.
That's heavy. That's it. So let me talk about.
Or he's trying to buy your heart, or because sometimes not necessarily brothers, but he's trying to buy your heart and buy your way because your love language is gifts, and he just gonna gift you out. But ain't nobody can keep that up forever.
That's real.
That's just not humanly possible.
Right. I agree. So let me flip that coin and talk about the other side of it. D. Fry talked about sometimes it's the money, sometimes it's the time too, because sometimes men have too much time on their hands.
No. But JD, that's associated. If they got too much time, 9 times out of 10 they ain't got no money. So
exactly. Sometimes they got too much time on their hands, and they might just be using you as a pastime or something to have fun with. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes that could be a little bit deceiving. Oh, well, girl, he spent a lot of time with me, and then just in reality, you might just be just as jump off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's something you need to make sure you vet properly too.
Nah, that's real. Yo, I love it, man. Y'all brothers have dropped so many gems. Before we wrap up tonight, are there any questions that you guys have for one another or for me, or any last or closing words?
What church are you? What church are you? A pastor of a church, JD?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's what I'm. Okay.
Yeah.
When I go down to Goodwater and visit my family, I'm gonna swing down that way.
Man, come on down through Lowndes County, man. Come on down through Lowndes County, man. We love to see you, man. Absolutely. But I do pastor church, man. And D Fry, one thing that I want to point out to you, man, and I can't wait for us to get a collab in, man.
Because all your church is gonna definitely not. They're gonna be like, "Who is this man?"
I am not.
Relations are a prison.
Yeah, I tell people this all the time, man. I am not your grandmother's pastor from back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I want to always keep it real and keep things practical as well, and try to meet people where they are. And then earlier, a little while ago, when you said I keep going up, man, I tell the church all the time, don't put me up on a pedestal.
I agree. That's
where I can be knocked down. But if you keep me down low with everybody,
up on a pedestal and just to better knock them down.
Yeah, man. So if you keep me down low with everybody else, then we'll all be brought up together. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want anybody to be intimidated or kind of turned off by the fact that I'm a preacher and a pastor, because I've been on other channels, man, that are kind of in the same niche or whatever, and as soon as they hear that I'm a pastor, they don't want to hear anything I have to say, because they have such a negative view on the church. Pastors are pimps and hustlers and
it's certain pastors that are pimps and hustlers.
Yeah, exactly.
Not all.
Yeah, not all.
My mother-in-law is a pastor, so
there you go. Yeah,
she's an AME pastor. I mean, so.
Yeah, once again, fellas, y'all got another shout out. Natasha, both of you gentlemen were genuinely informative and engaging. She definitely enjoyed today's show. Natasha, thank you so much for tuning in. And I got a question for you though, JD. Since we have you here, do you navigate dating differently as a pastor? Like, I
was just gonna ask something.
I've never had the opportunity to just speak one-on-one like this with a pastor. Like, how do you have to navigate it?
Pastor that's married, pastor that's single,
right?
Yeah, man, it's absolutely different. And one of the things that one of the first things that I told my lady when we first met and started talking is that a lot of people think that being with a pastor, you have to be first lady, or you have to be able to fit that role or be first lady material. I don't believe in that, because I'm not looking for a first lady. I'm just looking for a wife. You know what I'm saying? So I absolutely do have to move differently, with a lot of discretion and with a lot of discernment. And, I have to vet properly, you know what I'm saying? Because even though, I'm human, I make mistakes just like everybody else. I've been divorced, you know what I'm saying? But
how does divorce work in the church?
Yeah, you have to be divorced, man. That's another discussion for another
day. Look, I'm gonna set up this now, JD. That's what I'm gonna call our new episode is gonna be called "Divorce and Weekly Food." With JD.
Come on, man. For the week. Come on, man. Yeah, come on with it. I'm all for it, man. But I definitely have to move differently and have to vet properly, because I can't let anybody, just anybody into my space. Right. And then with me being a pastor, I have to have somebody that's able to be able to separate my anointing with my humanity. You know, so that's the biggest thing that I'm looking for.
Yeah. And I'm curious, JD, kind of going back to what you had mentioned earlier, and I don't mean to like start the discussion all over again, but just since we have this time, when you talked about risk, and more importantly, like the risk that a woman takes on, what are some risks that you think a woman takes on when she does enter into a relationship or a marriage with a pastor?
Well, one of the biggest.
She can't be thought no more.
Yeah.
She can't go to all down to Mobile for that Mardi Gras acting up.
Yeah. There you go. But I think that one of the biggest risks for a lady while dating a pastor is understanding that church folk are just church folk. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be judgmental a lot of the times, whether you're doing wrong or whether you're doing good. Yeah. You have to be able to take that and hear it, but don't hear it. And, some stuff you just have to let it roll off of your skin, and then you have to, and let me just put this out here. This has not been my experience.
Okay.
But from what people tell me,
right?
From what people tell me, a lot of women throw themselves at pastors or whatever. That hadn't been my experience. Okay. Maybe I'm just naive to it, or maybe I just don't pay attention to it because that's not what I'm looking for. But you have one of the biggest risks is understanding that sometimes he might have to talk to somebody that's vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes those that concern for somebody that's vulnerable can get confused and mixed up for something else. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a big risk, but you have to be willing to go into some of those counseling sessions, if not all, with him. You know what I'm saying? Just for that extra security, whether it be for him or for yourself or for the other person to say, hey, you're not finna go falsely accused because I'm right here, or nothing's gonna go down because I'm right here. You know, so I think that's at least two of the biggest risks.
Nah, that's good. I appreciate that. So before we wrap up, any final words on the topic for tonight about things that a man will do when he loves a woman? Let's go with you, D.
Just trust in yourself of who you are is who you are. If you worried about what another man's doing, go with the flow of what it is and make sure you state everything you want and you want out of the relationship up front. Like these are what my parameters are. If you have them, if you don't, you don't. But if you do and you want these things, our relationship, speak on it. Don't expect that somebody's supposed to know exactly what you want and that you want. And that's for men or women. Like, hey, these, like JD said, I want to have children. I want to build a family. I want to build a legacy. Those are things that need to be stated up front. You don't spring that on nobody. A year later, like, yo, what I know, maybe we ain't talk about it, but I want to have kids and build a legacy. And they like, well, no, that ain't what I want to kind of travel and do whatever. That ain't the line. let them know what you want up front.
Nah, that's real. Good stuff, D. Glad to have you on the show, man. JD,
Thank you, man. Thank you.
What's your closing words?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Jay, thank you so much for having me, man. One of the biggest takeaways that I want to throw out there is the fact that a man that's on his purpose and that's on his grind and that is serious is going to show you that he's serious. You know what I'm saying? It should get to a point in a relationship to where, hey, there's no question. This is what I want to do. I'm transparent, keeping the lines of communication open. And one more thing that I wanted to touch on that D said that somebody else had put in the comments, being willing to do that maintenance. You know what I'm saying? Because I use this analogy with your yard a lot of times, because in the summertime your yard needs work, right? Whether it's every 2 weeks or every week, if you don't work on it, it's gonna look like trash. It's the same thing with your relationship. If you're not constantly working on it, constantly doing maintenance and upkeep on it, then after a while it's gonna look like trash. So men are supposed to be the leaders. So I think it's very important for men to understand that you need to be that leader, and ladies to understand that these are part of the leadership qualities that you need to look for in a woman. I mean, in a man. I'm sorry.
One more thing, Jay.
Right.
There's a difference between doing fed time and state time in a marriage. And I'll talk about that another time.
yo, you had to end it. Like I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that. Yo, fellas, JD, D, I have enjoyed having both of you on.
Oh, JD, I'm gonna love getting with you, man.
Oh man, y'all are amazing, man.
I'm hitting you up. I'm gonna get on IG now and go through your stuff and hit you up now, man.
Both of you brothers are so genuine. I truly appreciate you not only answering the questions that I had lined up for our topic tonight, but going through a lot of the questions that were shared in the chat. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody who joined us today and the amazing comments and questions that you guys sent us over. We really, really appreciate it. And would love to have both of you guys come back on a future episode if you guys are ever interested.
Hit me up, man. We'll do it.
All right, cool. We'll make that happen. You guys both stay on, but you guys will end right now. But thank you guys for joining us, and definitely look forward to you guys checking out with us not next week, but actually tomorrow, next Tuesday. So this Tuesday coming up tomorrow, join us for our Right to Real Love live show at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So check in with us tomorrow. But MenChat is a wrap. Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate it.